17,224 IDPs or internally displaced persons and evacuees were accommodated in various cities and key areas here in Eastern Mindanao. Likewise, we have also facilitated the transport and delivery of some relief assistance to Iligan and other evacuation centers in Lanao del Sur. And to sustain the prevailing security situation, our efforts are now geared in enhancing the existing security measures through the following innovations. First, we are strengthening maritime security and enhancing our border crossing stations. There are 6 border crossing stations covering our backdoor, and 2 of those are in Eastern Mindanao area. This is done in coordination with other government agencies such as the Bureau of Immigration, the Philippine Coast Guard, Bureau of Customs, of course the PNP and the LGUs, and other concerned government agencies. Likewise, we have organized counter-terrorist forces, task forces in key cities, similar to the one where we have here in Davao, the Task Force Davao. In Gensan, we have JTF Gensan. Recently, we have activated Task Force Oro, that's in Cagayan de Oro. So similar task forces will also be activated in key cities here in Eastern Mindanao. And lastly, we have initiated a number of fora to curb violent extremism in Eastern Mindanao. This is done in coordination with the civil society organizations such as the Al-Kalam and likewise with the Academe. So in closing, we would like to thank the general public for your continued support together to maintain the peace and preserve law and order here in Eastern Mindanao. Thank you.
We'd now like to, we'll defer the questions after Director Peña has also made his presentation.
Thank you, sir. Secretary Avelia, thank you for inviting me to this forum, the Mindanao Hour. I will make, I'll be making my first year report here in Davao, where I come from, and I'm glad to be doing it here in Davao. Well, after 1 year of service addressing the drug problem, as you all know, our president during his inaugural speech, he said that the drug problem must be stopped by all means allowed by law. It will be relentless and sustained. And then during his SONA, he said that to double, triple your effort in the campaign against drugs. And so the Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency, being the lead agency in the campaign against drugs, launched an intensified operation against illegal drugs, as well as the other law enforcement agencies that supports the implementation of the strategies, the campaign against illegal drugs. And the result for that year, for the year that have passed, may I just read my data on the result for the year that have passed, comparing the the first year of the Duterte administration to the past year of the previous administration, the total number of operations conducted for this year, we have 64,397, and that is 77% more than what has been conducted by the previous administration, which is 36,466. And then the drug personalities arrested during for this first year period, we have 86,984. Compared to the previous administration accomplishment on the same drug personalities is 18,766. That is a 364% increase. And then on the number of government workers arrested, we have 302 personalities arrested compared to the previous year, which is 97, that is 211%. And then on clandestine laboratories dismantled for this year, for the first year of the Duterte administration, it's nine clandestine laboratories, including 2 mega shabu laboratories, compared to 3 during the previous administration. And then on drug dens dismantled, we have 152 compared to 82, and that is an increase in 85%. Well, on the drug laboratories, I will just mention that it is an increase of 200%. On shabu seized in kilograms, we have 2,446 kilograms compared to the 820 kilograms of the previous administration, which is a 198% increase. And then the value of shabu seized in billion pesos, we have a total of 12.62 billion for the Duterte administration compared to the 0.94 billion of the previous administration, previous year. And then for the total value of drugs seized in billion pesos, we have a total of 82.52 billion pesos compared to the 4.8 billion pesos of the previous year. This is a 283% increase. So those are, well, in addition to this, there were a total of 1.3 million, or to be exact, is 1,308,078 drug surrenderers during this period. This is up to June 28, 2007. And yes, 2017. June 28, 2017. And we have a total of law enforcers killed in action, 57, and wounded in action, 150. And in addition to that, we had a drug affectation of 48% when we took over. Out of the 42,036 barangays, there were 20,126 drug-affected barangays nationwide. Of course, ang NCR has the highest affectation. It reached 97%. And for now, up to this date, we have we have 3,677 cleared barangays for the period for the first year of the Duterte administration. But of course, these are the figures. But what we wanted to be able to accomplish is this figure will be translated into something that our people will feel, especially on the grassroots. In the grassroots, we have shifted our strategy to the barangay drug clearing program because this is where the drug problem thrives. Dito yung kalakalan ng droga. At ito yung nakaka-apekto sa mga mamamayan natin sa grassroots. At this is the one that matters actually. And so we shifted yung aming effort on the barangay drug clearing program. And we have that number of barangays already cleared for up to this date, 3,677. And this was done while we have concentrated or intensified yung law enforcement function on illegal drugs. We have shifted also to the demand reduction. As you know, as published before, we have more than 4 million users in the country. And these 4 million users translate to a 120 billion drug industry. And if that is not reduced, then yung 120 billion drug industry na yan will always be something that business drug syndicates who treat it as a business will always get into it. Meron man neutralize sa kanila, may mamatay, may maaresto, they will just replace it just to continue with their business, which is very lucrative and masyadong malaking business. So that's the reason why when we have when the president issued the executive order number 15, creating the Interagency Committee on Anti-Illegal Drugs. So the Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency, being the lead agency and was designated as the chairperson of the ICAD, we have shifted yung strategy natin na it's not just on ang concentration is not just on the enforcement only, but also on the other aspects of anti-illegal drug campaign. And ito po yung creation ng 4 clusters ng Interagency Committee on Anti-Illegal Drugs. And these are, one is the enforcement cluster. Yan yung emphasis namin, yung ginagawa namin before. And of course, the justice cluster. This is yan yung kasama ng enforcement cluster. But now, we have unified, integrated, and synchronized other efforts on the anti-illegal drug campaign. At ito yung other 2 clusters. The other 2 clusters are the advocacy cluster, which is now headed by the Department of Interior and Local Government. Ito ang ginagawa po nito is to have drug awareness in the grassroots level. Kasi maraming mga kabataan ang hindi nila alam yung ill effects ng drugs. And so we have a cluster on this. Kasama dyan, while the DILG is the chairperson dito, kasama dyan yung PIA, kasama dyan yung Department of Education and Culture, and other educational institutions. And so we have started on the preventive education and then yung awareness. And we are using the structure of government down to the barangay. And that's where we are now shifting yung battle against illegal drugs at the doorstep of the barangays. And ito rin yung mekanismo na marating natin yung family so that the families will get involved. At yung mga parents will be educated at alam din nila kung ano yung kanilang sasabihin sa mga anak nila. Because we believe na if the parents are involved, yung kung anong sasabihin ng mga parents will be still in the minds of yung mga anak nila. At ganon din sa eskwelahan. But more effectively, if our families will be involved. And then we have the 4th cluster, which is the cluster on rehabilitation and reintegration. Ito naman yung, once you get hooked to it, then ito yung cluster that will address it. Ito yung Department of Health at saka yung DSWD. So dito yung community-based rehabilitation as well as yung facility-based rehabilitation. And once they are treated, then they are trained. They are trained sa mga skills, sa trabaho, so that they can be provided jobs and then get integrated or become productive citizens of the society and then join the mainstream society at meron na silang ginagawa after that. So, hindi na sila babalik sa pagiging addict. So, yun po yung overall strategy ng gobyerno natin. And I would just like to mention na yung pag-create ng Interagency Committee on Anti-Illegal Drugs is part ng SONA ng ating presidente. So, nung pa lang, sa umpisa pa lang, nakasama na ito sa kanyang plano. And he announced that if you will review yung kanyang SONA, it is there that I will create an Interagency Committee on Anti-Illegal Drugs. And the purpose of that interagency is to unify all the efforts of all agencies concerned and then integrate and synchronize lahat ng mga actions, lahat ng mga strategies on anti-illegal drugs. And I would say that we are successful. Yung going to the assessment ng or the surveys that have just been done. Well, first, yung survey ng SWS in October. And then the campaign against illegal drugs was rated excellent. And then doon sa December, kinandak na survey sa Pulse Asia naman. Ang yung rating ang lumabas doon na those who feel yung mga mamamayan natin who feel safer, it was also excellent. And then yung latest, yung sa SWS, yung trust rating at saka yung satisfactory rating, trust rating of the President, satisfactory rating of the administration, parehas, isa is excellent yung trust rating and then yung satisfactory rating is very good. So, and the drug campaign is part of that rating. So I would like to say, and I'm happy to report that while we have done so much, well, so much more has to be done. We have made targets. Doon sa ICAD, ang ginawa naming target is to reduce yung barangay affectation by 30% per year. And it's moving smoothly. Although medyo it takes time, gradual, but halos every week may manakli-clear na barangays. In fact, on Friday, I will be going to Urdaneta because of declaration of some Urdaneta, Pangasinan, because of declaration of some barangays doon as drug cleared. And then dito naman sa Davao del Sur, there is now a municipality that is cleared. Municipality na yan. Ang ibig sabihin, lahat ng mga barangays niyan cleared na. And then recently, just 3 weeks ago, we went to Batanes to witness yung declaration ng probinsya as a drug cleared province. Yes, well, I'm going to that after this. This afternoon at 2 o'clock at Hotel Elena, there will be a signing of protocol of cooperation with the MILF. And that is a very good manifestation on the part of our brother MNLF members to help in our anti-illegal drug campaign. And yes, we are, there was an offer by the MILF to help in the campaign against illegal drugs in those areas that are affected by the conflict with the MILF. And you know, the law enforcer cannot just enter into those areas that are where they have their presence. So we have to involve them para makasama sa kampanya against illegal drugs in those areas that are considered conflicted areas.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. So, question and answer portion for General Gapay and Director Da Peña. We'll begin with questions for General Gapay, please.
Okay, Ruth Dumandan of RGMA Davao for the first question, then followed by Ayan Milihor of PNA, and okay, later, sige.
For General Gapay, sir, the karapatan and kilusang mabubukid na Pilipinas question. The holding of the 4 militant leaders for several hours in Lasang checkpoint, in spite daw of showing their IDs, in fact, they considered the action as a form of human rights violation. General, would you like to comment?
Yes, what happened last, it was 7 o'clock on 28 June, this last Wednesday. It was in a regular checkpoint operations in Lasang. It's one of the gateways to Davao City. Alam niyo naman po, ever since medyo maigpit yung checkpoints natin, ano? Lalo na yung 3 major checkpoints serving as gateway to Davao City. And yun nga, upon seeing, sensing some, they're reluctant to be subjected to the usual thorough procedures and inspection. So our troops manning the checkpoint in Lasang at that night sought the assistance of the PNP. So it was a joint checkpoint. So when the PNP continued the inspection, so they noticed that one of the passengers is a subject of has a warrant of arrest in the person of Mr. Carmelito Lao Sr. So upon recognizing one of the passengers, so the PNP invited them for further verification because there's a standing warrant of arrest issued by Judge Dayang Hirang of Branch 32, Regional Trial Court in Lupon, Davao Oriental. So they were invited and with consent for further verification. The 3 companions were already asked, they may go already, but they opted to accompany Mr. Lao to the PNP station. Then verification process transpired. Then after more than an hour, they were released at about 10 p.m. the same night after having been cleared. Apparently, after verification, the warrant of arrest was already cancelled because it was apparently settled amicably. So the 4 were released at around 10 p.m. So wala pong arrest na nangyari. Wala pong, they were not detained. There was no illegal detention. It was an invitation which they consented. And everything was done in accordance with the legal procedures.
Okay, thank you, General. Can I ask, ma'am, DG La Peña?
No.
Okay, sir, the PDEA 11 recommended to the President the inclusion of illegal drugs campaign in the martial law implementation. What's the latest on this?
Well, that's right. Actually, as you have learned, drug money came into play in supporting this yung Maote incident. So necessarily, ang Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency, of course, Region 11 is part of it, is getting into it. Sa umpisa pa lang, yung intelligence, intelligence information that we got is drug, terrorism, and narco-politics bundled into one came into play in that incident in Marawi. And we are into it. It's effortless operation.
Is it included right now, sir, in the martial law implementation, itong anti-illegal drugs campaign?
Yes, it is included.
Okay.
Of course, we cannot discuss details here.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, related to that illegal drugs, meron pong natanong dito from Alvin Baltazar of Radyo Pilipinas, Malacanang Press Corps. Yung massacre incident sa Bulacan dapat maging eye-opener sa mga critics ni President at ma-realize kung gaano talaga kalala ang problema sa illegal drugs na pilit na nililinis ng administrasyon. This is for Secretary Abella and Director General La Peña.
I defer to Pidea.
Okay.
Please repeat.
The massacre incident in Bulacan, related to drugs. So, paano daw po, gaano kalala ang problema sa illegal drugs na actually the President is really cleaning that campaign on drugs.
Yeah, indeed, yung ating problema sa drug is very serious. In fact, when the Duterte administration assumed office, we did not expect that it is this serious. Narinig naman yung presidente natin. During the campaign period, he's saying 3 to 6 months, ganun. And then when we assume office, then nag-develop na marami yung mga nagsusurrender. Then he asked for another 6 months. But when it reached 1 million, yung surrenderers natin, ganun pala katalamak yan, yung problema lang natin sa droga. And this is throughout the country. And then yung lumabas na ating situation, there are 48% of the barangays that are affected by drugs, and I would say that it could be even more. Pero based on what yung mga nagsusurrender, then we have 48%. That is 20,000 barangays in the whole country. And kaya nga yung strategy namin ngayon is to go to the barangays and clear it them by one by one. It could take a little while, but that's the way to go. Kasi lahat naman ng mga droga na pinipedal o it's imported or it's manufactured, it goes to the barangays. At sa barangay, hindi makakawala yung information na yan sa mga barangay officials natin. They know what's happening in their barangays. That's why we are enlisting yung tulong ng mga barangay officials natin at the grassroots level sa mga barangay. And we have been telling them that there's no middle ground dito. They have to help. It's either they are with us or they are against us. Hindi kasi, if you are a barangay official, you took oath na you will perform yung duties that goes with the office of being a barangay captain or a barangay official. Kaya pag hindi mo ginawa yon, then you can be liable for neglect or dereliction of duty. In fact, we have filed a case in Cebu against the barangay officials there. That's why there's no middle ground. Pag ikaw barangay official ka, you are supposed to know what's happening in your barangay.
Yeah.
Hindi makakawala yan. Walang, pag sinabing hindi niya alam, mag-resign na lang siya na barangay official kung hindi niya alam kung ano nangyayari sa kanyang barangay.
Okay.
And there's no middle ground.
Thank you so much. Ayan Milihor, PNA.
Good morning to Secretary Abella, sir. There was an earlier demand from the Mautes to swap the priests they are still holding and the parents. This is part of now of the policy that any demands from the Maute or terrorist group is non-negotiable.
We have not entered. Again, let me just reiterate. The government's policy is not to negotiate. And whatever demands made within, in Marawi with whatever negotiating groups, this holds no basis. Okay, let me just read that again. The gravity of the offense of all these terrorists and their supporters is immense, and they will need to be held accountable. Okay, so again, let me reiterate, government's policy is no negotiation.
Sir, was there a call from the religious sector to help to save the priests being hostage by Maute?
So what is your
Was
question?
there a call or a request from the church to save the priest being hostage by
As far as my desk is concerned, we have not received any.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, there's a question for you, sir. Before Vina Araneta, for Secretary Abella, from Tina Mendez of Philippine Star. If conflict has been classified as a humanitarian crisis that now warrants international help after PRRD sought allies to assist in rebuilding Marawi. Can you expound on the PRRD's statement also? As troops wrap up our operations in Marawi, I also welcome our international partners into looking forward into rebuilding this city. This invitation extends to our allies who share with us the principles of goodwill and non-interference in our domestic affairs. Also, how long do we expect the rehab and rebuilding to last, sir?
All right. The President's invitation for international partners to aid in rebuilding is not synonymous with humanitarian crisis. You've said in numerous occasions that we welcome foreign assistance in the Marawi situation, especially in the rehab and reconstruction and recovery phase, especially now that the troops are about to liberate the city from lawless elements. However, it is normal for friends and allies to support each other, which need a helping hand. And after all, we have our shared commitment with other countries to combat terrorism and attain sustainable peace. As to when the recovery and rehabilitation would last, the Bangon Marawi plan has a short-term and a long-term timeline depending on the activities involved. So we're not giving any specific dates, but there is a timeline. We have a short, medium, and long-term timeline. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. There's another question here. The Asia Maritime Transparency Initiative said new missile shelters and radar and communication facilities were being built on Ferry Cross Mischief and Subic reefs in the Spratlys. The think tank said the construction of military facilities is mostly complete and Beijing could now deploy military assets to the Spratlys anytime. What will the Philippines do about it? Is the country concerned that this will raise tension in the region? Is the government's response to China's activities in the area going to be tempered by the loans and donations the country has been getting from Beijing? From Leila of Inquirer.
Right. Again, on these matters, we defer to S&D, Secretary of National Defense, and DFA. However, we need to reiterate the fact that the President has said his approach to the situation, to regional geopolitics, has always been to come into a mutual understanding and mutual and dialogue in order to resolve cases like these. So, regarding those matters, we defer to S&D and to DFA. However, we need to just go back to the fact that the President at this stage has been non-combative and non-adversarial, but has approached regional geopolitics from the point of view of dialogue and mutual understanding and mutual support. Thank you.
Okay, another question here from Vina Araneta of ABS Davao.
To General Gapay and Secretary Abella. Sir, the AFP has surpassing 605 wounded. Bukod pa po ito doon sa 82 na killed in action. So parang isang batalyon na po yung napapabagsak ng Mauti. So sabi rin po ni General Anyo na yung gerang ito ay makukumpara mo sa gera sa Mosul sa northern Iraq. Your reaction lang po to this. Thank you.
First is the operational environment in Malawi is very different. It's urban setting, and really may advantage talaga yung on the defensive side, because they were able to prepare their positions, they were able to emplace machine guns, they were able to emplace snipers, and mobility for the attacking forces is really restricted. So it is because of these reasons that our forces, we have incurred many casualties in the process. Plus, not to mention the challenge being posed by, there are civilian hostages in the area. There are civilians trapped in the remaining 4 barangays of Marawi. But slowly but surely, with the capabilities at hand, I guess soon we will be able to clear Marawi of these terrorists.
Follow up, Vina? For Secretary Abella.
Let me just make several statements and then we can proceed.
Okay.
No,
Sir?
I'll just make
Okay,
one.
sir.
Okay. On the Philippine Trafficking in Persons 2017 ranking, the U.S. State Department, in its annual report entitled Trafficking in Persons TIP 2017, cited the Philippines for maintaining its Tier 1 ranking, meaning the Philippine government has fully met the minimum of the Trafficking Victims Protection Act's standards for the elimination of trafficking. The Philippines was the first and only Southeast Asian nation to have achieved this status. According to the report, the government demonstrated serious and sustained efforts by convincing and punishing more traffickers, identifying more victims through proactive screening procedures, and expanding its efforts to prevent trafficking of Filipino migrant workers. From July 2016 to June 2017, a total of 1,567 victims were served and 44 convictions were secured, putting 44 traffickers behind bars. As the Duterte administration enters its second year today, rest assured that the well-being of the Filipinos would be of paramount importance, and we will safeguard and protect them from any threat of violence and exploitation through strict implementation of the expanded Anti-Trafficking in Persons Act of 2012. On the analysts saying that the administration's fixation on the war on drugs overshadowed the war on terrorism, let me remind you that as early as August last year, or 1.5 months after PRD assumed the presidency, the president already told the Philippine military to be ready with ISIS and warned that the country would be plagued with the ISIS disease. Let me quote from his speech to his talk to the 1st Infantry Tabak Division of the Philippine Army in Zamboanga del Sur in the 10th of August 2016. And it's mixed, and it says, busy na unta ta pag-atubang ning aning problema na pag-droga, and I see a looming problem. Tanaw na ko within 3 to 7 years from now, magka-problema tas ISIS. In some parts of Mindanao, may tao nga puti, and I suppose nga mga Arabo na. They're here as missionaries, wala sila armas, but they're into indoctrination. Maunay kahadlukan kay sama sa mga komunista pagkumana ano maklear na sila sa lugar, nakita nila maayo musod na ining ilang mga political officers. Kanang may delikado kay ang gina luto ana ang utok. Anaay problema diri sa Muslim insurgency, and we must arrest them before dili sila ang atong mga kaigsuon ng muro dili makontaminates ISIS disease. In other words, he made a fine distinction between ISIS and the Muslim communities. And also, he also was pointing it out as of last year that there was indeed a looming danger, except that at that particular stage, it was a stage of indoctrination. However, already it was perceived even during that time. So, just about it. End of statement. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay, last 3 questions from Raymond Octobre of UNTV. Go.
Sanchek. To Secretary Abella, sir, good morning. Sir, in this coming SONA of our President, it is possible, sir, na sa Marawi po gawin ito. Itong kung possible po, what will be the security measures na gagawin po?
That would be very dramatic. However, I doubt that it will be held there. It's just that the conditions are not at all viable for something as serious as the State of the Nation address. Thank you.
Okay, follow up to that, Secretary. Henry Uri of DZRH is asking, in an interview with General Padilla this morning at on DZRH, sinabi niya na i-recommenda ng AFP sa Pangulo to defer muna Marawi visit. So nakarating na po sa Pangulo ang rekomendasyon at ano ang response niya, sir?
He's quite aware of the inconvenience of the situation, and he's taking the necessary precautions. However, the President is really audacious, but at this stage, we do not have any report. Thank you.
Okay, Angie Chagas of Bombo Radio, then Jam of GMA.
Kay Secretary Abella, sir, good morning. May panawagan po ang Mauti kay President Duterte na payagan ng pumagitna ang MILF para matapos na yung kaguluhan sa Marawi City.
Pwede po nilang idaan yan sa OPAP. On the other hand, ang guiding light natin ay non-negotiations.
Regarding naman po, Secretary Abella, regarding naman po doon sa rehabilitation po ng Marawi City, may gagawin po ba tayong resurvey doon sa mga residente para naman maiwasan na makabalik yung mga Mauti?
Ma'am, yung yung mga nangunguna po nito ay alam po nila ang kailangang maharap patungkol doon sa reconstruction ng Marawi at let us trust that they will be able to do all the necessary processes. Salamat po.
Okay. Kay po, Secretary La Peña. So regarding po doon kay sa PDEA po, regarding po doon sa lalagdaan po ng between GRP tsaka MILF doon sa drug campaign, gano'n na lang po ba kalaki yung kumpiyansa natin sa MILF para makatulong doon sa kampanya natin?
It's about a common interest to address yung ating illegal drug problem. So we welcome any assistance when it comes to that. But we will invite you, our friends from the media, para sa affair mamaya, and then maybe you can ask more questions in detail. Kasi magsasayanan pa mamaya. 2 o'clock, and then after that we can have a press briefing. Yes, sir. There will be safeguards, so by the way. Actually, kaya we have that protocol of cooperation. So yung mga androon, it can be this out after this signing.
Okay, Jam Sisante of GMA, you can use the mic there. Then after that, there's another question here for Secretary Abella. Jam?
For Secretary Abella, sir, you mentioned earlier that there are planned NPA attacks. Can you be specific on what kind of settings or people-oriented projects they are planning to attack based on intel reports, and if there are additional security measures that will be put in place because of these reports?
Una po, we don't have details regarding the planned attacks, except that the warning is, well, the announcement is that we should be vigilant and that and we should be careful about our surroundings. Patungkol po sa mga makinig po tayo sa mga, lalo na sa mga barangay, makinig po tayo sa mga further directives ng ating mga local authorities. Yun po.
Sir, yung planned attacks, if ever, ba sa rural areas like usual, or meron bang threat to urban areas?
Hindi po natin masasabi kung ano po yung mga plano nila, basta't mag-ingat po tayo.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, there's another one here for your Secretary Abella. Analysts said the admin's fixation on the war on drugs overshadowed the war on terrorism. What does the palace think of the assessment? How does the government try to balance the two campaigns and make sure that both are adequately addressed?
As I just read, as I just made a statement earlier, as early as August last year, nakita na ng presidente yung mga inherent, yung mga looming dangers dahilan sa mga presensya ng mga ilang mga tao na mukhang ang kanila naman daladala ay hindi bala kundi bala para sa utak. In this or indoctrinating people and trying to bring people into this particular ideology, which is not Muslim, but it is a radical form of extremism. It is kanila pong paniwala ito na ito yung kanilang So ang po natin balik po tayo sa una-una, kailangan po i-address natin ang sitwasyon. And this is the plan really of the President. Na ang whole systems approach po, ang presentation ng Presidente. Una-una, nakabase itong, kumbaga may galit o sama ng loob ang mga Muslims, especially in Mindanao. Base po ito sa social injustice. Yun po ang kanilang, the President recognizes that a major portion of the angst, of the anxiety of the Muslim community, especially Mindanao, is a sense of having been socially discriminated against and having been victims of social injustice. So yun po, ang sinasabi nga ng Presidente, ang solution talaga rito ay a major solution is federalism. So bigyan pansin po natin yan na hindi lang po relief ang ating hinaharap, kundi po na mabigyan, masagot po ang initial basic concerns na ating mga kapatirang Muslim na Pilipino. So ang at the end of the day, it's really a whole systems approach of government that will look after economic, social justice, law and order, peace, and also a sense that we all belong to one nation. And again, we would like to address the Filipino nation and say, it's time for us to embrace our being Filipino. Being Filipino is really unique. It is multicultural, multi-religious, and multi-everything. But at the end of the day, we all belong to one nation. And if we could embrace that and see where the President's coming from, where he's coming from is wanting to address social injustice, and it would be of deep and profound help if we all embrace our national identity of being Filipino and decided to make the choice to love the Philippines and all Filipinos alike.
Okay, sir, another follow-up here or question. May update na daw po ba regarding the pagtakas ni Isnilon Hapilon? Last time daw po kasi under verification pa. From Glenn of Brigada News FM National MPC. General Gapay.
Yes, based on the reports coming from the Western Mindanao Command, they're still verifying that report that Isidro Napilon has fled. If he has fled Marawi already. So, bine-verify pa po ito so at this moment.
Okay, another question here for General La Peña. Director General La Peña, pakitanong, please, ilan drug suspects killed since the start of the anti-illegal campaign from Joanna Gialagon? Same question din yan from Chona Yu. Same question.
Let me just check my data.
Okay, before that, may we hear the last question from this place? Okay, okay, sige. Ruth.
So I just want to follow up on federalism because many sectors believe that shifting federal form of government is the right move for the government to have the solution of all the problems in the country today, sir. Are there any specific directives of the President as to when the Congress going to tackle or discuss the federalism thing?
Pinapausad na po siya. I cannot give you the exact time. However, it will be acting on. Ang mahalaga lang din po kasi yung maintindihan ng tao kung ano talaga yung federalism. Na makikita nila na ito nga is going to be to our great advantage to the Filipinos and especially to the southern part of Mindanao. But hindi lang po southern part of Mindanao yan, kundi po ito isang kasagutan ng mga ongoing concerns, especially structural concerns ng Pilipino.
Thanks.
General Lapanya.
The number of drug personalities who died during anti-drug operations, is that the question? Yes. We have a total of 3,171. Ito yung mga namatay during legitimate drug operations, yung mga lumaban, those with, especially those who are armed and then lumaban sa ating mga law enforcers.
Okay, thank you so much. So, I guess we have no more. Ayan, meron ka pang follow-up. Sige, Ayan Melihor, PNA.
Sir, kay General La Peña, sir, Have you tracked connections of the Maute, yung kung kanino sila nakipag-deal sa drug operation anywhere in the country?
You are referring to the indigenous...
Yung mga Maute, sir, they were into drug operation. Have you tracked or checked on the people they were dealing before the Marawi crisis?
But we are into investigations right now, and then let's just wait for the result of that investigation.
Saan sana mga areas kayo nag-check, sir, sa kanilang mga connections? Anong mga areas?
Yeah, again, we have an investigation going on, and then those will be part ng investigation natin.
Sir, follow-up po. Homicides under investigation. May homicide under investigation na pa daw po. And how many suspected of being linked to drugs? Sir La Peña.
Come again, Peng?
Yun daw pong homicides under investigation.
Yeah,
How many suspected of being linked to drugs?
But I cannot give you the number of those homicide under investigations. That's the Philippine National Police. Kasi hindi drug, those are not drug related. We just consolidate mga data on drug related cases.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, Sam. Okay, Jam.
Sir General La Peña, sir, sino na po yung mga big fish na nahuli natin dun sa campaign against drugs? Big time drug traffickers.
Big fish, well, we have had several operations on mga high, yung mga high-placed, high-value targets. And then, if you have monitored, we have conducted raids dito sa yung night spots in Global City, sa Metro Manila, they call it yung being visited by mga high-end, mga well-placed mga personalities. And in fact, yung last na raid natin diyan, ang isa sa mga nahuli diyan is a former candidate ng Pilipinas. And yung mga nahuli doon ay marami classic illegal drugs, including ecstasy at saka yung mga party drugs, aside from Cebu.
Okay.
So we are also hitting yung mga matataas na mga targets like those.
Thank you so much, sir. Okay, may we hear now from Secretary Abella for his closing statement, sir.
Again, we're looking forward and hopefully a quick cessation of activities in Marawi, of violent activities in Marawi. We're looking forward to the rehabilitation of the area. We're looking forward to that we can move on so that we can proceed with normal flow of events. And among other things is a move towards federalism, to be able to engage and to be able to address social concerns in the area. We also look forward to be more cooperative citizens. And we're looking forward also to the President's report on SONA. Good morning, God bless.
Thank you so much, MPC and our media friends from Davao. And we'll go back now to our main studio, Radyo Pilipinas and PTV. Thank you. Good morning.
Iniimbita po kayo ngayong hapon sa Hotel Elena, alas 2 ng hapon. Meron pong kaganapan doon, PIDEA and MI. Magkakaroon po sila ng signing of MOUs ba yan? Yes.
And,
We'll see, the General expects to see you there.
thank you so much.